Introduction. Stop talking, doctor. Start living like a Stoic. Don't read this if you're just looking to feel better for a moment. This isn't written to comfort you. It's not something to share on social media and then return to your old delayed life. This is a wake-up call, a slap in the face, a declaration for those who are sick of their own excuses. This lesson isn't for the faint-hearted, not for the dreamers who think life will go easy on them just because they're nice, not for anyone chasing approval. This is an invitation into the land of absolute responsibility, the only place a true Stoic lives. There's no sweet comfort here. No, you deserve love if you haven't learned to love yourself through discipline and action. No, forgive yourself if you plan to keep living the same way tomorrow. You won't be encouraged. You will be awakened. Because life doesn't care about your good intentions. It only responds to results. And the truth is, you've talked too much. You've promised yourself 100 times. You've written down goals. You've listened to podcasts. You've saved motivational posts. But you're still delaying. You still pick up your phone instead of a book. You still think about change, but don't act. That's why this message exists. To press one truth. No one is coming to save you. If you don't change, nothing will. Not even the disappointment. The freedom, the stillness, the resilience you seek, it's all possible if you're willing to stop talking and start doing. Willing to go silent and take action. Willing to work in the dark with no applause. Willing to walk into the most important battle of your life, mastering yourself. Marcus Aurelius didn't post, "I'm healing." He wrote meditations to remind himself to live right every single day. Epictetus didn't need anyone's approval. He broke through slavery with the power of inner strength. Seneca didn't preach minimalism. He lived and died with a spirit so free no one could steal it. They didn't talk. They lived. They acted. And now it's your turn. Step into the path not meant for the weak, the Stoic path. The path that waits for no inspiration, makes no excuses, demands no ease. This isn't an easy lesson, but if you're still listening, part of you is ready. That part is knocking on the door of change. And if you dare to open it, I'll say just one thing. Go silent. Take action. Start living like a Stoic. Today. 1. Be silent and do the work. You don't need to promise. You need to start. You've talked enough. Talked about what you're going to do, the plans you're cooking up, the changes you're about to make. But day after day, everything stays in your head, in your notebook, in dreams that haven't begun. Every time you make a promise and break it, you're selling out your own credibility. Don't be surprised you've lost confidence, because every time you don't follow through, you're training your mind that your words mean nothing. People don't need to hear your promises. They're watching. They measure you by what you do, by the actions you repeat, by the results you produce. The world doesn't pay for intentions. It pays for outcomes. That's brutal but fair. You can say you want to change, but if you don't act, no one believes you, not even you. Ever wonder why you lose motivation? Not because you're weak, but because you've broken your own trust. Every time you say something and don't do it, you're teaching your brain that your words carry no weight, that we're not serious, we're just talking. And then you stop believing in yourself. You lose your inner strength. You start doubting, start shrinking. And then you need someone to motivate you again and again, stuck in a cycle of dependence. But no one's coming to save you. No one. Because the only person who needs to hear your action is you. Want to take control of your life? Start with the smallest thing. Keep your word to yourself. Don't say you'll wake up early. Wake up. Don't announce you'll start studying. Open the book. Don't declare you want to be better. Sit down and work like someone who means it. Be silent. Focus. Do the work. In the dark. No sharing. No proving. Because the only proof of who you are is the result you create when no one's watching. The wise don't need many words. Their actions are so clear, no explanation is needed. Their results speak loud enough. It's usually the loud ones who haven't even started. They talk to escape. They talk to feel like they're doing something. But talk creates nothing. Talk doesn't pay the bills. It won't make you stronger. It won't make you disciplined. Only action does that. And action doesn't need noise. It needs consistency. It needs focus. It needs you to be serious enough that no one even has to know what you're doing, because you already know. Sooner or later, the results will speak for you. And don't wait for inspiration. It comes and goes like the wind. If you keep waiting for it, you'll stay stuck in the cycle of delay. But if you act first, inspiration will come as a reward, but only after the first step. That's the rule. So don't announce, don't explain, don't complain, be silent, do the work. Start living like someone trustworthy, at least in your own eyes. When you become someone you yourself admire, that's when the transformation begins. No one needs your plans. The world doesn't need promises, it needs results. And the only one who needs to hear you is you. You don't need to promise. You need to start. Every morning, a new beginning. No one is coming to save you, unless you choose yourself each morning. Every time you open your eyes, the world is already waiting to pull you away from yourself. Messages waiting for replies. Social media waiting to be scrolled. A calendar waiting to chase you. A whole system designed to sweep you up before you even ask, what do I truly want from this day? From the moment you wake, you face a critical decision most people overlook. Choose the world or choose yourself. And if you don't choose you, no one will do it for you. That's the truth. A cold truth, but a precise one. No one taught you this in school. The first thing you do in the morning shapes your entire inner life. Start with rush, live in reaction. Start with awareness, live in intention. But most people leap out of bed, grab their phones, and let their minds be pulled by the noise. They spend the whole day responding, not choosing. That's not living, it's surviving. And the scary part is, they do this day after day for years without even realizing it. You can't master your life if you don't master your morning. That's when your mind is softest, easiest to rewire. And if you let the world program you first, you'll spend the day chasing other people's expectations instead of building your own foundation. Stoicism teaches that the only thing we can control is ourselves. But you can't control yourself unless you turn inward. Just 10 minutes. 10 minutes each morning is enough to shift your entire state. Sit still, breathe deeply, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Ask yourself one question. Who do I want to be today? Not a victim, not someone drained, but a warrior of peace, a person with purpose, a stoic. You don't need a perfect morning. You just need one small moment to return to yourself. Maybe you can't meditate for 30 minutes, but you can sit and breathe for 3. Maybe you won't fill 3 journal pages, but you can write one honest line about how you feel. What matters isn't the time, it's your presence. When you're truly present with yourself, even for 5 minutes, you're doing what most of the world forgets. Living, not reacting, not scrolling, not escaping. Just living with yourself as yourself. Don't underestimate this. One intentional morning can realign an entire life. One timely thought can save you from a bad decision. One slow breath can stop you from overreacting. One quiet reminder of your values can keep you on the right path. Don't wait for life to collapse to learn how to turn inward. Practice now, while things are calm, because if you can't master yourself in peace, you'll drown in chaos. You can't rebuild the whole world every morning, but you can rebuild yourself, and that's enough to change everything. Every morning is an invitation. Choose yourself again, or let the world choose for you. So remember, no one is coming to save you unless you choose yourself every single morning. 3. Walk with fear. Don't wait for it to disappear. Keep walking even if your hands are shaking. If you're waiting to stop being afraid before you start, you'll wait your whole life. Fear doesn't go away. It just changes form. It puts on new clothes, hides behind new excuses. Today you fear failure. Tomorrow you fear success. Today you fear not being good enough. Tomorrow you fear being compared. Don't wait to feel ready, because ready is just an illusion your mind creates to delay action. The truth is, you don't need to be ready. You need to be brave. And courage doesn't come from being fearless. It comes from moving forward while still afraid. Stoicism doesn't teach us to avoid emotions. It teaches us to master them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do what's right, even if you tremble." Epictetus said, "Fear is a product of imagination, not reality." They didn't write those words from peaceful villas. They wrote them in war, exile, loss, and separation. And still they acted. Still, they lived with virtue. Because they understood, acting in fear is part of strength. You are not weak because you're afraid. You're only weak if you let fear decide your actions. Feeling fear doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. Sometimes it's proof you're on the right one. The one that stretches you, deepens you, reveals you. Every time you step back because of fear, you reject a better version of yourself. Every time you move forward, even just one small step, you teach your mind, "I can do this." And each of those steps, shaky, slow, builds real confidence. Don't think courage comes from applause or the spotlight. It comes in silence. It comes when you do the thing you most fear and no one sees. Making the phone call you've been avoiding. Sending the email you've delayed. Speaking the truth you've buried. Saying no to what you don't want. Choosing yourself, knowing you'll be misunderstood. Those small actions in fear, in pressure, in solitude, are the purest form of courage. Don't wait for perfection. Don't say, "I'll start when I'm sure." You'll never be completely sure. But you can be honest with yourself. "I'm scared, but I'll still do it." That's how you take back control. That's how you teach yourself that fear no longer runs your life. Every time you do what's right while afraid, you carve a mark into your mind. I'm not someone who runs, and nothing, no one, can take that away from you. Fear is not a sign to stop. It's an invitation to move forward, a signal that you're standing at the edge of something meaningful. And only when you walk through it do you realize the person waiting on the other side was you. So even if your hands still shake, your heart still races, your mind still doubts, keep walking. That is true courage. 4. Be alone and not fall apart. No one can make you feel lonely if you are the place you want to come home to. We live in a world terrified of silence. The fear of being alone drives people to play music when no one's speaking, scroll endlessly when no one's replying, and seek connection as a way to escape themselves. But being alone doesn't mean being lacking. It's not a sign of failure or of being unloved. Being alone, if you dare to look inward, is how you return to your rawest truth. And truth, even when it hurts, is the foundation of freedom. When you learn to sit with yourself, no phone, no screen, no one, you begin to hear the real voice inside. Not the voice of society's expectations, not your parents, your ex, or public opinion, but the real voice, quiet, slow, yet deeply steady. Who am I? What do I truly need? That's the moment you stop running, the moment you take off the mask, the moment you actually start living instead of performing. Strangely, many people feel lonelier in crowds, feel emptier while surrounded by attention, because they've never truly been alone. Alone without fear, alone without feeling broken, alone without pretending to be strong. But here's the truth. When you become your own closest friend, you no longer need someone else's presence to feel whole. And only when you are whole can you love without clinging, attach without depending. Stoicism doesn't just teach us to master emotions, it teaches us to master solitude. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A free person is one who can sit alone in a room and still feel at peace." Epictetus taught that inner freedom doesn't come from circumstances, but from the ability to not let circumstances control your mind. When you build a strong inner space, no one can knock you over because you're no longer resisting loneliness. You've turned it into strength. Don't get it wrong. Being alone isn't always comfortable. There will be moments of emptiness, cold, and vulnerability, but that's not a sign you're doing it wrong. It's part of shedding the noise to hear yourself. And like all valuable things, inner peace comes at a cost. Truth, time, the courage to stay when every part of you wants to run. Being alone is not waiting for someone to fill the gap. It's learning to fill it from within. And when you do that, no one, nothing can make you fall apart again. You no longer need someone's presence to feel your worth. You no longer need noise to cover the silence, because you, just you, have become the place you want to come home to. And once you are a safe haven for yourself, the outside world becomes just scenery, not your anchor, not your threat, not the place you search for value. You already have it all, inside. No one can make you feel lonely if you are the place you want to come home to. Fifth, stop seeking approval. You don't need anyone to back you. You just need to stop betraying yourself. You've waited long enough, waited for someone to nod, for a compliment, a glance of recognition, a sign from life telling you it's okay to start doing what you've always known is right. But here's the truth. No one holds the authority to grant you permission to be yourself. No one. And the longer you wait, the more you turn your dreams into prisoners of other people's opinions. Today you won't begin because they don't understand. Tomorrow you won't continue because they didn't applaud. You live as if you need society's stamp of approval just to live honestly. But that's not living. That's begging for permission to exist. You don't need agreement. You don't need to be understood. Not because you're arrogant, but because this path you're on was never meant to be fully understood. True freedom doesn't come from acceptance. It comes from honesty. Honesty with yourself, and honesty demands courage. The courage to live by what you believe is right, even when no one else agrees. The courage to keep going, even when no one claps. The courage to say, I am enough. I don't need applause to know I'm on the right path. Look back. How many things did you once want to do, but stopped just because someone frowned? How many times did you doubt yourself just because the feedback wasn't glowing? How many times did you silence your own heart just to keep the crowd comfortable? Each time, you didn't just delay your path. You weakened your trust in yourself. And that's the real danger. Because once you stop believing in yourself, you'll forever chase external validation, like someone dying of thirst in a desert where the water never lasts. Stoicism teaches us to live by reason, not emotion, by values, not opinions. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If what you're doing is reasonable and right, then the judgment of others holds no weight." Epictetus said, "You cannot control the thoughts of others, so why let them control your actions?" The strongest people in history were not the most understood. They were the ones who lived in truth, even when the whole world stood against them. You're not here to please the crowd. You weren't born to become a watered-down version of yourself just to be accepted. You have your own path, your own identity, your own voice. And if you don't live in alignment with that, who will do it for you? Enough. Stop living like you need permission to be who you are. You don't need more approval. You just need to stop bowing your head to the gaze of others. You don't need anyone to back you. You just need to stop betraying yourself. 6. Stop seeking approval. You don't need anyone to back you. You just need to stop betraying yourself. How many years have you lived trapped in the need for approval? How many times did you know what you want to do, what you needed to say, what you believed was right, but stayed silent, afraid of judgment, afraid of being misunderstood, afraid of rejection? You waited for agreement as if someone out there holds the key to unlock your right to be yourself. But here's the harshest truth, and the most liberating one. No one is obligated to understand you. No one is responsible for agreeing with you. And no one has the right to decide whether you get to live authentically, except you. You don't need anyone's nod to begin, and you certainly don't need permission to be yourself. The price of approval is that you keep shrinking, twisting, muting yourself just to fit the image others expect. You have to be smaller, softer, safer, diluted enough to not make anyone uncomfortable. But do you know what's worse than rejection? Being accepted for someone you're not. Being loved not for your truth, but for your performance. That's not love. That's control. You will never feel free if you live for recognition. You'll stay anxious, doubtful, cautious, and worst of all, you'll betray yourself just to satisfy people who often don't even care. They don't live your life. They don't carry the weight of your choices. So why let them drive? Stoicism doesn't teach us to be careless. It teaches us to live by reason, by inner values, not by clinging to the crowd's reactions. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do what's right. Don't worry if anyone sees." Epictetus said, "If you live by others' opinions, you've handed your life to them." The wise act from inner clarity, not outer noise. Start small. Speak your truth without apologizing for your feelings. Say no to what doesn't fit. Make a decision without needing to explain. These simple acts are how you relearn a nearly forgotten skill, trusting yourself. And when that trust is built long enough, it becomes solid ground. Even if the world turns its back, you don't need anyone else to prove you're enough. You just need to stop doubting yourself. You were born to live your way, walk your own path, and write a story that carries your imprint, not someone else's copy. So today, draw the line. End the cycle of chasing approval. Enough. Stop living like you need permission to be who you are. You don't need support. You just need to stop betraying yourself. 7. Let go of those who won't stand on their own. No one can move forward if you keep carrying them. You weren't born to be the savior of everyone. Not every pain is yours to heal. Not every fall is yours to catch. Not every cry for help is yours to answer. Here's the truth. You can't help someone rise if they're not ready to face their pain. You can't heal someone who clings to their wounds like they're part of their identity. You can't guide someone who still chooses to turn away blindly. And if you keep trying, you're not being noble, you're just burning out. You must learn the difference between love and self-sacrifice. Love doesn't mean breaking every fall for someone else. Love doesn't mean carrying all their sorrow like you have no life of your own. Love doesn't mean staying unconditionally in a place where your heart keeps emptying out. Stoicism doesn't teach you to be cold. It teaches you to be rational in love, to be compassionate without setting yourself on fire. It teaches that real help only matters when the one receiving it wants to grow. Some people don't want to rise. They just want to cling. They need you, not for who you are, but because you're their crutch. And crutches don't get to fall. Crutches are expected to be there. Crutches are taken for granted. You're no longer you. You're the pole they lean on just to stay upright. But even poles can snap. And if you keep being everyone's support without standing tall yourself, one day you will collapse, silently, exhausted, wounded in ways no one sees. You're not selfish for letting go. You're not heartless for stepping back. You're simply respecting yourself and them. Because real love doesn't come from saving, it comes from walking side by side. Two people who stand on their own, then choose to hold hands and walk together. No one carrying, no one collapsing while the other remains still. Unequal sacrifice doesn't grow love. It breeds resentment, control, and blind dependency. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Do good, but don't let yourself be pulled into the chaos of others." Epictetus said, "The wise don't try to change others. They change how they respond." You can love someone deeply and still choose to walk away. You can care sincerely and still set boundaries. Sometimes the greatest act of love is letting go. Not because you don't love anymore, but because you finally understand. Love should not destroy you. You can't lift someone who doesn't want to rise. And if you keep straining to drag them forward, sooner or later, you'll fall. Boundaries aren't walls to push others out. They are fences to keep you from losing yourself in love. You are not the savior of the world. Learn the difference between love and self-sacrifice. And sometimes the greatest love is being able to say, enough, because no one can walk forward if you keep carrying them. 8. Mental declutter. Eliminate distractions. If it's not moving you forward, it's pulling you back. You're draining more energy than you realize. Not because you're working too much, but because you're being pulled apart by too many meaningless things. Useless notifications, conversations that lead nowhere, videos you can't even remember but still keep scrolling through. As if you're searching for something, even though you don't know what that something is. You're not tired from doing, you're tired from being distracted. Every time your mind switches direction, you lose a bit of presence. And if you live like that every day, you're trading your life for noise. Here's the hard truth. You're letting what leads nowhere pull you backward. Every time you delay what matters to check social media, you're choosing comfort over growth. Every time you say just 5 minutes but lose 2 hours to mindless scrolling, you're slowly losing yourself. You don't need more time, you need fewer leaks. You don't lack willpower. You lack space for your willpower to do its job. Everything you need to change your life is already within you, but you can't activate it when your mind is full of junk. Stoicism teaches us to know the difference between what we can control and what we can't. And your attention is something you can control. Epictetus said, "Your mind is a fortress no enemy can conquer unless you let them in." But today we open the gates ourselves to fake news, drama, comparison, and strangers' expectations. You wake up, open your phone, and hand over your piece to an algorithm. You let the world set your mood before you've even set your direction, not because you're weak, but because you haven't yet realized you have the power to choose, and you should choose ruthlessly. Be honest. How much of your busy schedule is actually worth keeping? How many relationships exist only out of politeness? How often do you say, I need rest, when in truth you're avoiding something important? Mental declutter is not a one-time act. It's a daily habit, a constant question. Does this take me where I want to go? If the answer is no, cut it. No hesitation, no apology, no regret. What doesn't serve you drains you. You can't do deep work with a noisy mind. You can't hear your intuition with a cluttered head. You can't go far while dragging emotional baggage that doesn't belong. Mental decluttering is an act of self-respect. It's how you tell yourself, I deserve clarity. It's how you declare to the world, I'm no longer a victim of distraction. What doesn't move you forward is pulling you back, and you don't have time to be pulled back anymore. Clean up, delete, turn off, walk away from the spaces that don't nourish you, because your attention is your greatest asset. And you must protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. Don't say, I will do this. Do it in silence and let results make them ask, how did you do that? When you have results, you don't need to explain. And when you don't, all explanations are just excuses. Quiet action builds the foundation. Unflashy effort builds real focus. Because when you stop thinking about what others think, you finally align with what truly matters. You stop spending energy on image and start using it to build yourself. And when you are clear enough, steady enough, consistent enough, you don't need to shout. Your life will echo on its own. Don't announce, don't explain, don't perform, just act. Act in silence. Act with unwavering commitment that no one sees, so that one day when you finally step forward, people won't believe how far you've come. With no noise at all, that is true power, because action doesn't need a microphone. Results broadcast themselves. 10. Build yourself. Everything else will follow. Stop chasing, start attracting. You're tired of running, aren't you? Running after recognition, running after achievement, running after love, running after the things you think you need in order to feel enough. But the more you run, the more it all seems to slip further away, like grasping at something that keeps moving just out of reach. It's not your fault. It's the nature of chasing. It puts you in the position of lack. And when you believe you're not enough, everything you do carries the frequency of scarcity, and nothing powerful is drawn to neediness, insecurity, or desperation. So instead of running, stop, turn inward, and start building yourself. Everything you want is a byproduct, not the goal. A beautiful love is the byproduct of growth. A great opportunity is the byproduct of preparation. Admiration is the byproduct of genuine character. When you truly work on yourself, building the inside first, the outside world reorganizes itself. What is meant for you will come. Not because you beg for it, but because you become the kind of person who's ready to receive it. It's not magic, it's a law. Think back to when you were at your best, confident, clear, calm. That's when things came to you naturally, isn't it? People are drawn to the energy you emit when you're no longer trying to impress, when you're being, not performing, when you're becoming, not chasing. That's what you need to do every day. Build yourself in silence, like a skilled craftsman, patient with every brick, knowing that a solid house naturally invites what's valuable to come and stay. Stoicism doesn't tell you to fight for a place in the world. It teaches you to build inner strength so the world can't shake you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The outer world is a reflection of the inner world." Epictetus reminded us, if you want peace, begin by quieting yourself. That doesn't mean sitting around waiting. It means acting without being attached to outcomes. It means building yourself not to be seen, but because it's the right thing to do. You don't need to chase, become. You don't need to look for the right person, be the right person. You don't need to ask, how can I be loved? Ask instead, am I being lovable? Don't force yourself into someone else's success system. Build your own discipline, focus, integrity. Every small act you do each day rewrites your identity. And identity is magnetic. It attracts what aligns. That's why it all starts within. When you work on your inner world, the outer world adjusts accordingly. No begging, no proving, no asking for permission. Just become. And let everything come to you when you're ready to hold it. Stop chasing. Start attracting. The real journey begins with you. 11th, don't let age become your excuse. All you need is today. You think it's too late to start something? The truth is, it's not. You're not too late. You just haven't started. Age isn't a wall blocking your path. It's a socially accepted excuse, wrapped in realism, designed to stop you from dreaming. But dreams don't have expiration dates. The power to change isn't tied to your birth year. What's stopping you isn't getting older. It's stopping believing you can begin again. Some people give up hope at 20, others start a brand new journey at 60, not because they have special advantages, but because they refuse to let age be a reason to stop. They understand this. As long as you wake up, as long as you breathe, you still have a chance. And the only thing you need to change your life isn't more time, it's the decision to start today. Youth isn't in your age, it's in your hunger, in your eagerness to live truthfully and fully, in your willingness to chase what makes your heart race, even if no one else understands, in your refusal to stop learning, stop growing, stop moving, inch by inch, quietly, consistently. That is true youth, and it can live in anyone, at any age, as long as you keep choosing forward, not backwards. Yes, maybe you missed some chances. Maybe you made wrong turns. Maybe you spent years wandering, but don't let that be your reason to quit. Let it be your fuel. Everything you've lived, even the falls, is data. Data you can use to begin again, better, wiser. You don't have to start from scratch. But if you start with a new mindset, you can create a completely different ending. Stoicism teaches us not to cling to what we can't control. You can't rewind time, but you can own this moment, and this moment, today, is where your real life happens. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't live as if you have endless days. Live as if today were your last, and live it rightly." Epictetus said, "Don't ask what will happen in 5 years. Ask, am I living by what I believe today?" Age becomes a limit only if you believe it is. Society will say it's too late. Family may not understand. Friends may doubt. But none of those voices matter more than the quiet one inside. The one still whispering, "I still want to live fully." So listen to it. It's not too late. You just haven't started. And today is the first chance you get to take. Don't wait for perfect. Don't wait for the right time. There is no time more right than today. Youth lives in desire, and desire can be reignited the moment you choose to begin. All you need is today. 12. Repeat. Even when you're bored, tired, or seeing nothing, you don't need to do it perfectly. You just need to do it consistently. Progress doesn't come from getting everything right. It comes from showing up again and again, repeating a small action over and over. That's where real strength is born, not from inspiration, not from bursts of motivation, not from those magical moments people keep waiting for, but from the tired days, the boring days, the days when nothing seems to move, and yet you keep going. How many times have you started something with fire in your heart, only to fizzle out after a few weeks, even days? It's not because you're not good enough. It's because you believe this lie. If I don't see results today, I must be doing it wrong. But the truth is, results don't show up instantly. They arrive late. And when they do, they don't make a grand entrance. They come quietly, just like the way you quietly planted them, day after day through tiny acts no one ever noticed. Want to learn a skill? Practice every day, just 15 minutes. Want to get stronger? Forget big goals. Start by walking each morning. Don't worry if today's effort is good enough. Worry about whether you're consistent. Success doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to those who don't quit. Those who know that greatness isn't built in one epic day, but in hundreds of ordinary days lived with quiet consistency. Stoics didn't chase inspiration. They built discipline. Epictetus said, "Don't ask if you feel like it today. Ask if you kept your word." Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you don't want to get out of bed, remember, you weren't made to stay warm under the blankets. You were made to act. And the greatest action is the one you repeat, not for attention, not for praise, but because you've chosen to be someone reliable, at least to yourself. There will be days when you feel empty, mornings when your body is sluggish, your mind is lazy, and everything in you wants to quit. And those are the most important days because when you do the work, even when you don't want to, you're rewriting your identity. You're proving, I'm not ruled by fleeting emotion. That's real strength. Don't wait for inspiration. It's an uninvited guest. But if you build the habit, inspiration will come looking for you. Repeat, even when it's boring, even when you're tired, even when nothing seems to be happening, like watering a seed buried underground. You don't see it sprout, but you still water it every day, consistently, and one day it will rise, strong, steady, and you'll see it didn't grow overnight. It grew from the habit you kept on the days that felt like nothing. Real power lives in small actions, repeated over time. There is no magic, only habit. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be the best. You just need to be consistent. 13. Commitment, inspiration. You don't need fire, you need consistency. Inspiration burns bright, then burns out. Commitment stays steady and keeps the fire alive for life. People start because they're inspired, but they only finish because they're committed. Inspiration gets you excited to plan, to write goals, to tell the world what you're going to do. But commitment keeps you going when no one's listening, when there's nothing left to prove, when it gets hard, boring, and lonely. That's when you have to ask yourself, am I committed to me? You don't need to wake up on fire every morning. You don't need to feel ready to do the work. You just need to do it, quietly, discipline, like a pact you made with yourself. No witnesses needed. Marcus Aurelius didn't write meditations to inspire others. He wrote to keep himself from straying off course. Epictetus didn't wait for motivation to live with virtue. He trained it like a duty. The Stoics didn't wait for inspiration. They committed. Inspiration is emotion, and emotions shift. Today you're excited. Tomorrow you're exhausted. Today it all feels meaningful. Tomorrow it might feel pointless. If you act only when your emotions say go, you're living like a puppet pulled by moods. Commitment is different. Commitment is a decision. It's action chosen in advance, regardless of emotion. It's the quiet vow. Happy or sad, I still show up. And that vow, repeated daily, shapes who you become. Want to write a book? Don't wait for inspiration. Write for 30 minutes a day. Want to get fit? Don't wait to feel like it. Train by schedule, like brushing your teeth. Want success? Don't chase a spark. Take steady steps, even in the dark. The great ones aren't always motivated. They just don't quit. Not because they're better, because they keep their word. Commitment isn't sexy. It's repetitive, quiet, often invisible. But that's what builds depth, like a small flame that never goes out. Not flashy, not explosive, but it warms the whole house through winter. You don't need a big fire. You need a fire that doesn't die. And to keep that fire, you need consistency, not inspiration. If you ask, how do I stay persistent? The answer isn't motivation. It's a habit of commitment. Doing the right thing daily, even if it's small, not spectacular, just steady, not hot, just warm enough. One day you'll look back in awe. How did I get this far? And the answer will always be because you didn't stop. Motivation is emotion. Commitment is a decision. And your life is built from decisions made daily, independent of how you feel. You don't need fire. You don't need drama. You just need rhythm. You just need to keep the flame. You just need to not stop. 14. Small actions create big results. One step a day. One dreamy leap. You don't need to do something great today. You just need to do something right, even if it's small, and repeat it every single day. In a world obsessed with speed, we often underestimate the power of small action. We celebrate big breakthroughs, turning points, overnight success, forgetting that behind every peak are thousands of quiet, steady, boring, but relentless steps. No one reaches the finish line in one leap. Everything is built step by step. Want to write a 300-page book? Start with 1 page a day. Want to master a skill? Practice for 10 minutes daily. Want to transform your body? Move for 20 minutes. Today's small step may not impress anyone, not even yourself. But if you don't stop, if you stay consistent, in 100 days in a year, you'll look back and realize you've arrived in a completely different place. Marcus Aurelius didn't wake up with explosive inspiration. He got up because he knew acting with reason, even in small ways, is the duty of someone living responsibly. Epictetus didn't teach for glory. He taught because he believed, plant one right seed a day, and a soul will change. The Stoics didn't care how much you did today. They cared whether you showed up consistently, acted rightly, and stayed patient with the process. Here's the truth. The very actions you dismiss as too small are the foundation of real change. Because every time you choose to act, even in a tiny way, you rebuild trust in yourself. You send a message, I'm someone who does, not just thinks. And that consistency, not explosive moments, is what creates lasting transformation. How many times have you started strong, only to quit because you didn't see instant results? How often have you been disappointed in yourself just because nothing happened after a few days? But look closer. You didn't fail because the actions were small. You failed because you stopped too soon. If you keep going long enough, you'll see. Everything you do, no matter how small, builds. No step is wasted if you're heading in the right direction. And when you feel discouraged, when the work feels too small to matter, remember this: one step a day for a year is 365 steps. One emotional leap with no follow-through goes nowhere. What gets you to the finish line isn't the big leap, it's the small steps you didn't quit on. No small step is wasted if you stay on the path. Simple actions done daily. You'll be amazed by who you become. Don't wait for the big break. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Just take a step, then another, and don't stop. One step a day, one dreamy leap, 15, long-term thinking. The Stoic's path. Not everyone who starts fast finishes first. You can start strong, but do you have the endurance to finish? In a world addicted to instant results, long-term thinkers seem out of place. But they, the ones who go slow, go steady, go deep, are the ones who go farthest. Not because they're more talented, but because they understand a simple, forgotten truth. Anything truly valuable takes time, and anything meant to last must be built on long-term thinking. Short-term thinking makes you demand results after just a few steps. You hit the gym 3 times, see no change, so you quit. You practice a skill for 2 weeks, still feel average, so you give up. You start a project, don't get recognition, so you retreat to your comfort zone. And just like that, you become a master of starting, but a stranger to finishing. Every time you quit, you don't just lose results. You lose trust in yourself. Stoics don't act for quick rewards. They act because it's right. Marcus Aurelius didn't journal to get published. He wrote to stay aligned with reason. Epictetus didn't seek comfort in the now. He lived simply to forge resilience for the future. They knew inner stability doesn't come from what happens today. It comes from knowing what you're living for and being willing to pay the price for it. Long-term thinking means choosing to pay now, to earn what's worth it later. It's not flashy, not fast, not viral, but it's worth living. It helps you stand firm when others keep changing course. It keeps you disciplined when no one's watching. Most importantly, it protects you from cheap rewards, hollow praise, and quick roads that lead nowhere. You don't have to know everything, but you do have to ask, is what I'm doing today taking me where I want to go? If the answer is yes, don't let delay deceive you. Just because you don't see results doesn't mean there aren't any. A tree's roots grow deep, long before they break the surface. So does real transformation. It starts inside. It grows in silence. And when you feel discouraged, ask yourself, will this still matter 5 years from now? If yes, keep going. If not, don't waste your energy. Long-term thinking is the compass that keeps you steady through short-term storms. It keeps you from comparing, from following the crowd, from changing direction just because someone else is moving faster. Short-term thinking makes you quit. Long-term thinking keeps you in the race. Don't chase pleasure now. Build meaning that lasts. Don't ask, when will I see results? Ask, am I still heading in the right direction? Because it's not the fastest starter who wins. It's the one clear-headed enough to stay in the race. Closing, becoming a Stoic on a path of endless repetition. You've just walked through 15 lessons, not to memorize every line, but to engrave within yourself a way of living, a way to face life with reason, face pain with inner strength, and face yourself with uncompromising honesty. It's not an easy journey. It's long, quiet, demanding discipline. But for that very reason, it's the most sustainable path to becoming your best self. Not loud, not dramatic, just right. Stoicism doesn't teach perfection. It teaches strength with an imperfection, to fall, but not give up, to be silent, but not weak, to act without needing applause, to live by inner values, no matter how chaotic the outside world becomes. Every lesson you just read, from silent action over promises, to choosing yourself each morning, to facing fear, to thinking long term, none of them are easy. But if you live them, truly live them, they become the foundation to walk steady through chaos. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to return to yourself, steady, clear, and true. That's the root of Stoicism, not suppressing emotion, but governing it with reason, not being indifferent to life, but acting quietly without need for recognition, not separating from the world, but entering it with unshakable presence. And if you're still doubting, still asking, can I really change? Remember this, change doesn't come from reading one lesson. It comes from choosing to live it, not doing everything today, but doing one thing, small, real, daily, consistently, without stopping. Right now, you're standing at a fork in the road. Keep living the old way, reactive, distracted, busy but hollow, or begin living a new way, aware, disciplined, deep, slower, but more real. If you've read this far, it means part of you already wants that, wants to live more truly, wants to break out of the cycle of empty promises, fleeting motivation, and seeking others' approval. So start again, right now. Don't wait for inspiration. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for anyone's agreement. You don't need a nod from the world to live right. You just need to stop bowing to your own excuses. And to close this journey, there's nothing more to say except one commitment, simple enough to remember, powerful enough to change you. If you truly live by it, today I speak less, I do more. I am a Stoic. Write it, read it every morning. Etch it into yourself as a vow, not to say, but to live. This journey doesn't end here. It's only beginning. And from this moment on, you no longer walk in the dark. You carry a light from within. Hold it close. Become a Stoic. Not because the world needs to see, but because you need to know you live true, and that is enough.